Hello and welcome to the Back Nine Report. My name is Carlos Torres. I get together with Fred Altvater to check in on the world of golf, to bring you the latest news, insights, analysis, interviews, recaps, previews. Hey, we cover anything and everything golf. In other words, if it happened in golf, we have it for you. Hey, Fred. Hi, how are you today?
Hey, Carlos, I'm fantastic. Really intrigued. There's some gigantic news in the golf world right now, and we just had to talk about it and let our listeners know what we thought.
Oh, definitely. And this is something that is not new, but it's happening now. Now it's true. We've been talking about this. So let's start the money grab wars right now. And why? Because there's a new Saudi Arabia-backed golf series that is set to be announced next week. And Hall of Famer Greg Norman will be the series commissioner, according to Golf Week's Ian Lynch. A group of golf media members attended a private meeting in the New York City on Wednesday where plans for the new series were formally outlined. Multiple people spoke to Golf Week to confirm the series and meeting, but did so anonymously, as the plan will be announced next week. Now, Golf Week was not invited to the meeting for some reason, but it is not known yet what the series or league will look like, though the Saudis have been trying to launch this venture for some time, and we have been documenting this for all that time as well. And this is despite significant pushback from both the PGA Tour and the European Tour. We have been seeing all the measures that they have been taking, all the money, let's say it that way, that the PGA Tour has been throwing to the players to just try to dissuade them from not even considering that. So far, what we have been seeing is that the players, most of them have been saying the right things. This is just a money grab, like Rory McIlroy and Justin Thomas have said. For now, all we know is that Greg Norman will be the new commissioner. And according to that report from Golf Week, Norman will lead the new venture as his commissioner. As you remember, Greg Norman tried to launch what was the World Golf Tour back in 1994, though the PGA Tour declined before launching the World Golf Championship Series 3 years later. Those annual 4 events, which are still being played and feature the top players in the world, regardless of the tour affiliation, are set up similarly to how Norman wanted his events run. So at some point, that he got some of what he wanted, right? But what happened last year, Greg was also flown into the Gulf Saudi Summit in 2020, according to Golf Week, right? Along with the Asian Tour CEO and the latest European Tour CEO, among others. And now we see, Fred, what is going to happen. We'll get more information pretty soon about this, but definitely the questions are going to be, how will the PGA Tour and the European Tour respond? Because, and everybody knows they have taken a pretty hard stand against the proposed PGA Tour League and others that the Saudis have proposed in recent years. The PGL has gained significant traction once again earlier this year after a group of Saudi investors were prepared to offer golfer paydays of up to $30 million to participate with them instead of their respective tours. So what's going to happen? Or first of all, what's your first impression now that this is official finally and the money grab wars are starting?
Well, my impression is I think the PGL now is on to something. They actually have something tangible to hang their hat on. Now they've got to deal with the Asian Tour. They're putting in $100 million and they guaranteed 10 events for 10 years. So that's a big deal for the Asian Tour. Plus, it gives them access now to South Korea and Japan for sure. Thailand, you throw in there, a couple other smaller countries like Malaysia, but you also got the sleeping bear there. You got China, and they're going golf crazy there as well. So that's a pretty big market right there just in itself. And Norman said, this is just a start. We're still going to do more stuff. They got this investment fund, the Saudi Arabia investment fund that's backing this thing, has $500 billion in it, right? $500 billion. That's a lot of money. And they've said, hey, we'll commit $100 billion to getting this PGL thing going. It's called LIV Investments. That is what Greg is going to be heading up. And that's going to be the overall company that's going to do all this tour information, those kind of things. So some of the things we know, Carlos, that Greg is going to be the new commissioner, that Saudi backers were willing to spend $1 billion to bankroll the league. Phil Mickelson has been offered $100 million to join the new tour. Other high-profile players that have been approached: Dustin Johnson, Justin Rose, Brooks Koepka, Bryson DeChambeau, Henrik Stenson, Adam Scott, and Ricky Fowler. They were all offered $30 million to come over. So plus some other Ryder Cup players have been approached. So they want to get some big names. They're going to need probably 3 or 4 or 5 big names to make this thing float. What I don't understand is that American players on the whole, the top players, have been reluctant to travel outside the United States very much. Yeah, they might go out for 1 or 2 or 3 events a year, but they don't want to travel outside the US that much. So what is the incentive for them to do this? Okay, they're going to get a big payday right away. They're going to get guaranteed money plus the prize money that they're going to win. But there's also this thing called the retirement fund that the PGA Tour offers. So if you make a lot of money on the PGA Tour, you're going to make a lot of money in retirement as well. And nobody talks about that. I don't know, what's better, Carlos? Is it better to have $30 or $50 million in your pocket right now? After you pay taxes off all of that, you're going to be lucky to have half, or probably less than half of that, between a third and a half. And then you want that today sitting in the bank compounding interest, or do you want that money growing tax-free, interest-free, tax-free in that retirement plan and have a bigger wad of cash when you decide to retire in 15 or 20 or 25 years, whatever. So there's a lot of things going on here, Carlos. But my first thought is that them jumping onto the Asian Tour, that's a big deal. Now they've got something to hang their hat on, and they can start working off of everything else.
Well, just to answer the part of the retirement fund, I don't see it as a big deal, because there's a lot of ways, and I'm sure the PGL has thought about this. I mean, Greg Norman is a smart person. He's a great, successful businessman that is going to put that aside for a little while to take on this, and I'm sure they have thought about that. I don't think that that's such a big deal when there's so many options that, and so many wealth advisors out there that can show you how to create wealth out of what you're making. This money that is being thrown out there is serious money. And I'm sure there's going to be a ways that you're going to say, hey, this is your personal investment for how to retire in 10, 20 years. The amount of money that I would be making there, I have to seriously consider it, because this is not just for now. Of course, I'm going to invest something. I'm going to put some of that to retirement. I don't see that as a big deal, really. The big deal that I see is and we still don't know. That's what we're waiting to see, what is going to be that first reaction between the PGA Tour and the European Tour, because we have seen all the things that they have said. You're not going to be part of the Ryder Cup. You're not going to play in the big major tournaments. What is it going to happen? Because all of this right now is about the legacies and the history that you have made and forged on those tours. Are you willing to let that go to just go and grab money? Okay. The LIV Golf Investments, like you said, the major shareholder is Public Investment Fund, which is an investment arm of the Saudi Arabia's government. Like you mentioned, they have already committed to stage an additional 10 events on the Asian Tour in the next decade. But the enterprise's goal are for a prominent worldwide presence, with play beginning as early as next year. So this announcement comes only weeks after a group of led by the Public Investment Group purchased the premier league soccer team Newcastle United after years-long pursuit that had been documented and all that. There's also the real deal, I think, here is that because all that deals have been derailed or nearly derailed by the fund's involvement, because critics of Saudi Arabia are saying the investments in sports by the PIF are merely an effort by the kingdom to obscure accusations of human rights abuses. Norman, we know for more than 25 years, he has hoped to create a global golf tour, global golf world tour as a rival to the PGA Tour. In the 90s, he proposed the World Golf Tour and tried to lure top players like he's going to try to do now in a collection of small field events that would have enlarged half enlarged purses. And you may remember Tim Fincham succeeded in fending him off because he viewed it as unwanted competition to its circuit. From the PGA Tour and the European Tour, of course, the PGL is unwanted competition. That's what it is to them. But really, all I see here is, what are you really going to do? Are you going to let your legacy and all the things that you have built there? Because this becomes, let's put it that way, like when the Ryder Cup started, like the President's Cup started, the issue that they've had is that they don't have the history that the Ryder Cup had. It's another type of competition to the Ryder Cup, but they don't have that history and that legacy that the Ryder Cup has. So they have been trying to chip in, and that's what the PGL is going to start. How is it going to start? You know, there's going to be just 15 tournaments for the beginning, limited fields of 48 players. Who's going to play there, right? Because we know that players like Rory and Justin Thomas have said, no, Phil definitely has nothing else to say. I mean, he's not a major PGA Tour player anymore, although he won a major last season. But who's gonna be the first big name to bite and go into there? We know Greg Norman was known for his ball play and attacking style. His nickname is the Shark, and he's undeterred. So, and I think he's just gonna go after it. It's just going to take one to see who's going to be that first big name to start attracting any others.
Two things to wrap this up real quick, Carlos. Number one, to play the majors, the US Open, anybody can play their way in. So the PGA Tour has nothing to say about that. So if a guy wants to become eligible, I'm sure the USGA will have some way that these guys can play in it. Number two, same way with the Open Championship and the British Open Championship. It's open. Guys can play their way in. So even if whatever tour they're playing, they can still get in. The Masters, they'll have to, they've shown that they want to promote golf worldwide with their amateur tournaments in Asia and in Latin America. They want that promotion worldwide. So they might let players in. So it's the only one that the PGA Tour maybe have some sway over is they provide the players for the Ryder Cup, although the PGA owns that, not the PGA Tour. So the PGA may say, hey, we'll let guys play, and they might let guys play in the PGA Championship too. Although usually it's just PGA Tour guys. So we'll see. The only one they really control is the players. They're not going to play in that. That's not fully a major yet in name, although we pretty much recognize it as a major. The other issue is sponsorship money. Most players, you can earn $8 to $10 million of prize money on the PGA Tour for the top players every year, even more, a little bit more. But more than that, if you're on the PGA Tour, you're getting 10, 12, 15, 50, $100 million of support from sponsorship money and endorsements every year. That's big money here in America. Are those kind of endorsements going to be able to playing on the Asian Tour? Are there enough eyeballs over there and television and all the kind of things that will get players that endorsement money that they want as well here in America that they get? Are they going to be able to get that playing on the PGL someplace? So those are the questions I have yet, Carlos. But the PGL has really made a big announcement here. This is really upside down. And I'm telling you what, I really think the PGA Tour missed a tremendous opportunity not taking this and doing something with the Asian Tour themselves. The European Tour and the American Tour, the PGA Tour, both told the Asian Tour, we don't want to do business with you anymore. You're on your own. So they had to go looking for something. There's the deep pockets of Saudi Arabia. That decision may come back to haunt them someday.
Yeah, just the final word that I have on that you're saying. And again, I'm not worried about either the sponsorship because you are gonna get the money. I mean, we're just thinking that everything is here in the States. There is a world out there that is much bigger than just the United States. And there's a lot of big worldwide companies that are gonna be able to back up because they're worldwide companies. The sponsorship money is gonna come. Again, I don't see that as the issue. I think that the issue is, are you willing to let go what you have on the PGA Tour just to go into this new venture that is just starting? Are you willing to let that legacy that you have go? Because that's what you're really letting go right now. I don't see anything else really. Retirement money, you can get it anywhere. Sponsorship money, you're gonna get it. There's plenty of worldwide companies that are willing to go and pay their money. Plus, you're gonna get so much money here that man, you're gonna make up for that sponsorship money real easy. The real questions are, who's gonna be the first ones to go? Are you willing to let that go? That you're not gonna get it again, because the PGA Tour is saying, or and the European Tour have said, you're not welcome back here. So we'll see. This is the start. Next week, we're definitely going to get more information into what this is finally going to be. So we'll see. Fred, any final comments you want to make?
Show me the money, Carlos. Show me the money.
Let the money grabbing wars begin. That's what it's all about. So anyway, thank you for joining us. Remember to subscribe to our channel so you can stay up to date with the latest in golf news and information. Also, remember to follow us on Twitter. Our handle is Back9Report with the number 9 in the middle. Thank you for joining us.